What is up, denizens of the interwebs? It's Arthur Chats here coming at you with another video, and this time we've got another really idiotic story to cover. And of course, it just so happens to once again be involved around Dragon Age the Veilguard. And that of course has to do with everyone's favorite sensitive hot topic of the last 2 years, arachnophobia mode. As the Dragon Age Veilguard developer reveals that there will be no arachnophobia mode, because the game is simply ignoring spiders as to avoid having to handle the problem in the first place. During a blog post on Reddit regarding Dragon Age the Veilguard's accessibility options, one user stated that they were disappointed to see that there was no arachnophobia mode for this game. Now, arachnophobia mode is an incredibly controversial thing that most people don't give a fuck about. No one cares about arachnophobia mode, but it doesn't matter to these diversity inclusive type people, because to them it's just another place where you can virtue signal. On the discussion post, it was mentioned that one person said that, not to mention arachnophobia filter, no, I'm not an arachnophobe, I just wish there was one like WoW that changed every spiders in game to crabs, LMAO. I want to fight giant enemy crabs. Which is a significantly weaker reason than some of the other ones, and I do like some of the other responses in this. I am an arachnophobe, but I found that playing games with spiders over the years has helped to sensitize my initial fear of them somewhat. Which, psychologically speaking, is a very factual thing to say. Now, of course, some people might be asking, what exactly is an arachnophobia filter? I know that most of my demographics are a bit older, so they might not have heard of this idea before in video games. Well, it's something that's being implemented across the board, which is from Business Insider from over a year ago. Video games are making safe modes if you're afraid of spiders or deep water. Activate them and they disappear. And as you can see here is an instance of what an arachnophobia mode looks like in the game Grounded, where the spider is nothing more than a body with no legs. Of course, that's less intimidating, but of course that completely misses the point of having spiders as an enemy. And of course, one of the really big games that really pushed it was Hogwarts Legacy, and is one of the few complaints I actually had for Hogwarts Legacy. And during that discussion is exactly where the comment was made, no arachnophobia mode because there are no spiders, from someone whose username is Black Hair Violet Eyes, who claims to have been a developer on the game. And what's absolutely confusing about this change is spiders were a consistent enemy in the franchise. While I don't remember a ton from playing Dragon Age Origins because I didn't find the game excellent, I found it okay, but I found it boring and the gameplay was a bit of a slog. I do need to go back so I can actually properly appreciate the game. And I really liked the world, but one thing I do remember is fighting a lot of spiders, and also the Broodmother, who I don't think is even allowed to be showed on YouTube, given, well, if you know it, you know what it looks like. It's horrifying. Now, I did see one piece of cope about it, claiming that the reason why there are no spiders is the giant spiders came from the Veil, and since this has a Veilguard, meaning the Veil is relatively closed, there should be no magical spiders, right? Now, that's just stupid. That's a stupid argument, and it's always been a stupid argument. Now, I already hear all the Twitter weirdos typing away. What's the problem? If it makes some people happier, why does it matter that they don't have spiders? Well, it matters for a lot of reasons. First of all, what about the people who really like killing spiders, huh? Why don't they matter as much as people who don't? And what about people who have arachnophobia, who find the best therapy is being able to kill giant spiders in video games? Those people exist, why aren't we appealing to them? Why do we only appeal to a small subset of the community when so many more people are implicated in this problem? There are so many people who have questions like this that are just completely disingenuous and are designed to trip you up to make it so that you seem to have lost the argument because they just ask, well, why do you care? And the answer is simple, because of the reason why they're doing it. If it doesn't matter that they get rid of them, why does it matter that they were there in the first place? It's a stupid argument, and of course anyone with half a brain cell could piece that together. For those who aren't so intellectually inclined as the average rock, allow me to explain exactly why that's a problem. First of all, arachnophobia mode isn't being done to appeal to people who are afraid of spiders. As is stated in that article from that Park Place, the person who put the post together doesn't have arachnophobia. It's being done by people who aren't afraid of spiders, who don't give a damn about spiders. They're just people who are trying to find another way to implicate their politics into games. And yes, arachnophobia is politics. It falls under inclusion aspect of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Because obviously, if someone is afraid of spiders, they're not going to want to play the game, and therefore they can't be included. But that's the point of spiders in video games. This is such a dumb argument that I can't play a game because I have arachnophobia. The reason the game has spiders, this is really simple. The reason the game has spiders in the first place is because they're fucking scary. Dragon Age Origins has spiders because spiders are unnerving and creepy creatures. Hogwarts Legacy has spiders because not only are they a common enemy in Harry Potter, but because they're creepy. And that's why spiders were chosen as the common enemy in Hogwarts Legacy, is in Harry Potter because spiders are creepy. There's a reason why Ron was affected by arachnophobia, because nobody likes spiders. It's one of our basic fears. It is in the 3 central core fears that every human has. A fear of the dark, a fear of heights, and a fear of creepy crawlies. Any small animal who is a potential predator of humans or is dangerous to them, we have an innate fear of. So having spiders as a common scare enemy is an incredibly ingenious idea that's been used for years because it just makes sense. And what about those poor arachnophobes? Well, what about them? Screw them. No one cares. Guess what? Here's a real simple thing. I'm talking as someone who studies psychology. When you feed a fear, when you give into a phobia, all you do is you make it worse. If you affirm someone's phobia, you are restructuring it so that the fear response is rewarded and encouraged. When you affirm a phobia, you reconstitute and reignite said phobia. It's not that crazy of a concept, and it shouldn't really be that hard for people to grasp. When you use an arachnophobia mode, you are, by virtue, making arachnophobia worse because you are actively awarding your fear of spiders. You are awarding the fear, and therefore you are reinforcing it. Whereas if you see a spider and you still go forward and you still fight and you kill that damn spider, what's happening is you are rewiring your brain and punishing the phobia and discouraging it. By engaging the spider, you are telling your brain that you are not controlled by your fears and you will not kowtow to them. Instead, what you are doing is you are facing them, you're overcoming them, and like that one Reddit user said, they refuse to use arachnophobia modes because it helps them deal with their anxiety and phobia around spiders. And yes, it is a bit different than engaging with a real-world spider. Trust me, I don't have arachnophobia, but if there's a spider on my desk, I'm not going to like it, especially if there's one as big as Shelob. Unless it's human form Shelob, then she can go anywhere in my room she wants. So if you can't tell, I have a huge problem with arachnophobia mode. I think it is just another way of sensitizing the internet and sensitizing gamers. It encourages people who never play games to play games in a way that is disingenuous, and it hurts everyone involved. Because when you start giving into the arachnophobia mode, people, you're eventually just going to remove the arachnophobia entirely. And then, of course, once this starts getting applied to other games. As we know in that article that I read about the arachnophobia, they mentioned some games are also adding thalassophobia modes into the game, which is just a removal of the deep sea, which I actually have that one. I am terrified of water that I cannot see the bottom of. I do not like it. I do not want to be anywhere near it. I don't want to be stung by jellyfish, sharks, or what. Actually, I don't mind sharks. Sharks are fine. But anything else in the ocean, I'm fine. The fact that we haven't explored 80% of our oceans means I'm fine not bothering with them. I'll stick to the shallows. You guys can go to the deep end. But it doesn't matter. The mode should still exist. I love playing Subnautica, and the fact that I'm scared of the ocean makes the game 20 times better. I really like Ark. And especially the ocean parts of Ark, the fact that I'm terrified of what's in that ocean makes the game that much more enjoyable. Because it feels so much more real when you're playing something that has a natural fear. And it's not like these games are forcing fears upon you, but it's more that they're natural fears. And it's a normal part of how you would be in those worlds. So the correct answer is not to encourage these kinds of sensitivity modes, because where does it end? We start putting in thalassophobia and arachnophobia modes, how long until we get rid of everything that's scary? Oh, sorry, everything is on a flat plane because someone is afraid of height that's playing the game. So we can't put them on any kind of high altitudes. Well, someone's afraid of snakes, can't have any snakes in the game because they might be afraid of those. You can't have gore or holes or anything because someone is afraid of that. Where does it end? Where does the slippery slope end? Because what they have done is they have objectively opened a slippery slope. And I guarantee you, it ends when gaming does. Because these people are not gamers. They do not care about video games. All they care about is the destruction of the gaming culture and gaming as an activity. Because they do not understand it, and therefore they do not like it. These decisions are being made by companies like Sweet Baby Inc. and other activism groups who are pushing these ideas, not players or developers. The people who care about the game do not want this. The people who play the game do not want this. And the people making the game, I'm sure, do not want this either. If your arachnophobia is so bad that you can't play a game with a couple of spiders, go play something else. It's not that complicated. I'm not going to play a game that has things that I don't like in it, so why are you? It's a waste of everyone's time, and all it's doing is virtue signaling to the people who do not give a damn. Because the people who will praise arachnophobia modes are not the people playing the game. But Obviously, you can tell that I have a massive issue with arachnophobia modes. Let me know down in the comments what you think of it, what your thoughts on it are. If you can actually give me a reason to agree with you, I will amend this video, but I guarantee you none of you can. But I'd like to see you try. If not, if you think this is really dumb, also leave that comment down leave that as a comment, and like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video.